Helping you live your best Delmarva life, it's time to talk family and tracing your family history.
Yeah, perhaps you've thought about building a family tree to get to know your ancestors. Joining us today to help you get started is Tammy Bresnahan, AARP Maryland's Associate State Director for Advocacy. Welcome.
Thanks for coming in, Tammy.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, let's talk about a family tree. Takes a little bit of time.
Takes a lot of time, actually.
Okay. Any tips for getting started?
Well, there's 7 basic tips for getting started on searching for your family. And the first one we talk about is look for clues in your family home. Bibles, any documents, birth certificates, that kind of thing. The second one, talk to older relatives about your family history. A key starting point is U.S. Census. And I found some of that at the Maryland Archives, but if you aren't a Maryland resident, you might want to try the Maryland Historical Society, or in Delaware, they probably have something comparable. Search the internet can help. Some of those sites do cost. You can pay a monthly fee.
Right.
You can also try your courthouse, churches, parishes, public libraries for information.
Yep.
I just took a few notes.
And it's a good thing because this really is, it can be involved.
Yeah.
Search for married females. I was just looking for my great-grandfather's first name and his wife's first name. And so my father has one first cousin still alive, and she said she didn't know his name, but she thought her name was Margaret. And I knew that they lived on Tillman Island, or my father was born on Tillman Island, so I searched records in Talbot County. Yeah. And I found out that her name, she thought it was Margaret, but they called her Maggie, but actually her name was Maggie, and his name was Edward. And I searched that through death records at the Maryland Archives, but through Talbot County for birth records, and then Anne Arundel County, where they ended up moving to for death records.
Wow.
How about that?
So the sixth clue is, or suggestion is, to closely examine family pictures. Sometimes there'll be dates on those. But when I was talking to my father's first cousin, what I found out is that she said that her grandfather lived with them, and that she thought, that she thought that in his latter years, he lived to be 85, that he had dementia because he would wear a boot over his head and pretend he was a railroad conductor.
Really?
So I knew that she was born in 1929 and that her cognitive memory would have to be around 5 to 10.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew that he probably lived to about 1939. So I could search the records that way. So I had a first name. I knew that her name was Maggie, and then my father's first name was Edward, and his father's first name was Victor. So I thought, well, maybe there's a chance. So all those clues kind of go together. And then the 7th and final clue or suggestion is become familiar with genealogical terms, such as census, looking for age, birth certificates, death certificates, even people that were in the service, those kind of things.
Can you do some of that online maybe? Because I know that like my relatives are from another state. I might not be able to trace them back in that state. Can you get any of that information online?
Some of it is available through the websites, Ancestry.com. You can search those. Like I said, they charge a fee. I'm not sure how much it is. I haven't gone that way yet because I live in Maryland, and all the things I need are in Maryland because my family has been in Maryland for, it looks like, more than 200 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Wow. And you said it does take time.
It does take time. I just found my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother's death certificate, and it took 3 hours.
Wow.
At the Maryland Archives. But you have to kind of give a parameter because it's just not that easy. So then I could search back. When I found the death certificates, I knew that he was born in 1858 and she was born in 1868. Will
they help us? If I don't know what to do, will they help us there?
They do help you. They're very good about it. The Maryland Historical Society, the Maryland Archives. Sometimes you just have to get them to talk in your speak, though.
Right.
So you have to bring them back.
Because I'm not a pro. So AARP is very hard at work in Maryland.
Yes, we are.
Doing what kinds of things?
Well, we have 4 portfolio priorities, but our first and foremost priority is retirement security. We also are working with the Maryland legislature to ensure that Marylanders can age in place, that they have access to home and community-based services. We know by polling our members that they are very interested in being able to, if they get sick or unable, not to go in a nursing home, but to go to stay in their home. And so we're encouraged that the governor has put $14 million for home and community-based services in his budget. So we're going to make sure that stays there.
All right.
Tammy,
thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Interesting. And if you'd like some more guidance on how to get started on your family tree, go to delmarvalife.com and click on the show tab.
Tammy, thank you. Well, coming up next on Delmarva Life, off-centered beer for off-centered people.
That's the mission statement of local brewery Dogfish Head. We get a tour of the Milton Brewery and find out why there's more to Dogfish Head than beer.